very day, Wild West guns are extremely popular throughout the entire planet. But there was a day whenever Wild West guns were exactly that. They were the guns that kept the West, I guess, as civilized as it could possibly be during that era. So we're going to take a look at the top 5 Wild West guns. These are the guns that shaped the West. These are the guns that won the West. They played a significant role in the history of the migration and the Western frontier. Number 1 is the Colt single-action Army revolver, dubbed the Peacemaker. It was a widely used revolver. Out of all the revolvers in the West during this era, there were none more abundant than the single-action Army revolver. The single-action Army traditionally fires the 44-40 rimfire round. However, Colt had made a .45 Colt, but most of the models did fire the 44-40. Dubbed the SAA Model P by the U.S. military, this gun passed the service trials in 1872. Being involved in things like the American Indian Wars, the Mexican Revolution, and too many range wars to mention. Now, even though this was a very popular gun, it was very slow to load, evolving the chamber and being able to eject and load one round at a time. The quickest way to reload this gun is to get another one. The peculiar grip on these Western revolvers was specifically designed to roll back in your hand after firing. That way you could recock it again, and it's in a great position to do so. It's really a brilliant design for what you were achieving during that era. Number 2 is the .73 Winchester. Now, just like the .73 Winchester, there were many lever action guns in this time. More specifically, the .66, the Henry Yellow Boy. These were significant guns that won the West. However, in the case of Custer's final battle, he went into that with an army of single-shot rifles, coming up against the Sioux, who had lever-action repeater rifles, and we all know the result of that one. The Sioux, armed with the .73 and .66 Winchesters and Henrys, those single-shot guns just couldn't compete. However, these lever-action guns were very pricey at the time, some of them averaging $40, so it was a major investment to have a lever-action gun during this era. Number 3, the Smith & Wesson Model 3. Model 3 was the first large-frame metal cartridge, had the speed of reloading on the American market with tremendous success. It changed the firearm altogether. The first model, being the American, had the speed of reloading, as it break open quickly, ejecting the casings. It was a big change compared to the Army single-action revolver. There were several variations of this gun. First was the American, then came the Russian. The Russian Model 3 was a product of the Russian government, buying so many of these guns that to this day there are more Russian Model 3s ever made than American Model 3s. In the Battle of the OK Corral, it is widely known that most of the weapons used were Colt single-action Army. However, Wyatt Earp was known to carry an American. Meanwhile, McClary's carried the Schofield and the Russian variations of the Model 3. Number 4 is the Derringer. Now, what I'm specifically looking at is the tiny vest pocket pistols. These guns were the ultimate CCW. They were so concealable and very creative. Often referred to as a lady's pistol or a gentleman's vest pocket pistol, these little guns stouted things like the 7-shot Chicago palm pistol. What a creative little pistol this is. I would love to shoot this thing. So tiny, and it's a 7-shot rotary magazine that spins much like a clock. Or the James Reed Knuckle Duster. This is a 6-shot revolver that also can reverse his brass knuckles. There's the Marston 3-bore Derringer that even comes with a small knife on the side. And one of the most peculiar of its day, the 1890 French Gallio, was a small 5-shot semi-automatic pistol that just simply fit in the palm of your hand. But the most popular of all was the Remington over-under Derringer. This gun sold over 150,000 models during its production. And finally, number 5 is the double-barrel side-by-side shotgun. This gun was the most common gun on the American frontier because it was an awesome weapon. This is a hammer gun that needs to be cocked, and it has 2 triggers front and back. This is the gun that Doc Holliday walked up with at the OK Corral. Often referred to as a coach gun, it was the ultimate gun to protect the stagecoach. The stagecoach was heavily robbed. Stagecoach at the time was the way people traveled. It was the way that they transported goods and expensive valuables. And that's why they were always targets. One of the most famous stagecoach robbers of all time, Black Bart, used a double-barrel shotgun to oftentimes stop a stagecoach. Standing in the path pointing straight at the stagecoach, it often was very intimidating enough to make the guy stop. So there you go. There's my top 5 list of the guns that won the West. I'm sure I left some great ones out there. If you have some that I missed, definitely put them in the comments below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe.